and to criticize it as being irresponsible.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. George W. Bush campaigned in Michigan, a battleground state that's still up for grabs. As Fox News correspondent Carl Cameron reports, Bush's recent strong showing in the polls has led to a change in the governor's campaigning style.
For George W. Bush, the final sprint is a mix of scripted events and messages and high-stakes improvisation. Going with the flow is a departure for Bush from months of rigidly following preset plans. But it now lets Bush adjust quickly to changes in the race. Aides say it's working based on Bush's surge in the polls and mood.
Oh yeah, we're ready to go.
Even Bush's message is somewhat in flux. Aides Thursday night suggested new talking points, but Bush rejected them and Friday stuck to his standard themes and criticisms of Al Gore.
He thinks the surplus exists because of the ingenuity and hard work of your federal government. No. The surplus exists because of the ingenuity and hard work of the American people.
Much of Bush's travel is tentative, too. Some events are confirmed, but destinations change daily depending on polls in each state. Thursday night, Bush went to Toledo after word that his lead in Ohio was shrinking slightly. The stop also created an excuse to cancel a scheduled stop in Madison, Wisconsin, where Al Gore was stumping and boasting about a crowd of 30,000. In Toledo, as Bush lamented declining military readiness, officials outside the airport hangar had a pair of F-16 fighters take off.
It's one of our military jets, and my message, if he could only hear me, my message to the pilot is stay in the military. A new commander-in-chief is coming.
Bush's most spontaneous moment of the entire campaign came earlier this week in Florida, when he abruptly turned a town hall meeting into a rally instead.
I was going to do one of these things where we were going to sit around and ask questions and answer them, but I don't think so today. I think what I'm going to do is give you the full speech. Give you the full speech to get you fired up to get out and vote.
And the crowds have loved it right straight through. Bush's new campaign agility is not entirely spontaneous. Much of it is due to his organization fanning out across the country, planning a number of events that would take place simultaneously so that at any given moment, Bush can shift gears and go to the state and make the speech that is appropriate to the circumstances. Tony?
Carl, we saw Karen Hughes reacting to phone messages left in Michigan. Have those phone messages put the Bush team on the defensive?
Actually, it's put them on offense. She called it despicable and said Al Gore had sunk to the lowest of the lows. And that's part of what this new sort of freestyle campaign of the Bush organization allows for. It gives Bush an opportunity to really go with the message of the times. And there is some expectation in the Bush campaign that this is just the beginning of what will be even nastier telephone calls. So they are setting the bar right now, saying they can't possibly get any lower to go under it. Tony?
All right, Carl, thanks. Speaking of the race, our latest Fox News Opinion Dynamics poll focuses this week on 10 swing states. You see them there. In a two-way race for president in those 10 states, George W. Bush leads Al Gore 46 to 41% with a 3-point margin of error. In a four-way race, Bush's lead over Gore is still 5 points, with Ralph Nader getting 4% and Pat Buchanan getting 2. Bush leads by 3 points in Illinois. Gore has the same edge in Michigan and Pennsylvania. In the conventional wisdom vote, which man voters think will win regardless of their personal preferences, Bush wallops Gore by 12 points, 43 to 31%. While 61% of the voters in these swing states think the country is generally headed in the right direction, nearly the same majority thinks we're on the wrong track when it comes to the moral climate in America. Several national tracking polls show George W. Bush maintaining a slight but statistically insignificant lead over Vice President Al Gore. The Voter.com Battleground 2000 poll puts Bush at 45% and Gore at 40% with a 3-point margin of error. Like other polls, this one shows only single-digit support for Ralph Nader and Pat Buchanan. The Rasmussen Portrait of America poll shows Bush at 46% and Gore at 42%. The CNN USA Today Gallup poll, which has been all over the place, shows Bush up by 13 points, 52 to 39. And the Reuters Zogby MSNBC poll puts Gore at 45%, Bush at 43%. Coming up, Hillary Clinton and Rick Lazio have their final debate. That story next.